Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Vagabond Expedition Jeep build. Just wanted to show you guys today a little bit more about the Rotopax. Some of my early videos, I had a few problems with Rotopax in the earlier days, and those are on my in my channel here as some of the first videos that I've actually ever done. There wasn't much to them for quality or really any depth, but they outlined a couple of flaws that I had. I had leaky caps, I had caps that didn't fit, things like that. So I just wanted to follow up with you today to show you guys what I do have for Rotopax, because you do notice that I still do have Rotopax on there. The problems I had weren't enough to deter me from keeping Rotopax on the Expedition Jeep. So I'll show you the different mounts that I've got, the different Rotopax units that I've got, and I'll outline some of the corrective actions that I took just to solve some headaches that I've got with the Rotopax units. Today we're back Richmond, BC area. I'm at what's called Triangle Beach. We got shipping containers all on that side, and it's a bit noisy, so hopefully the noise doesn't detract too much. Over on this side though, I've got the water. I do have some trees and whatnot here, but I do have access right down to the water, which is quite nice. I can watch the boats coming and go on the ferries and that. It seems to be a relatively quiet spot down here. You can hide out, although there is evidence that you know, some kids come down here, or youths if we will, and start some raging fires on the beach here with wood pallets and whatnot. There's nails everywhere, so you have to be careful where you're going there, but otherwise it's a beautiful area. So hopefully this sits nice and quiet for me for a couple of days, and I can hang out here and enjoy the sights and the sounds. So let's jump to the back of the Jeep. You'll see I've got two Rotopax containers here. The red one I carry, these are both 2-gallon containers. This one here is 2 gallons of fuel. This one here is a 2-gallon storage container. They're on the high lift jack. There's a couple of plates you can get from Terraflex that allow you to mount these onto your high lift jack. Quite handy, but they're out in the open and exposed. I've got the T-handles on here. These are not the locking T-handles, they're just the regular handles. They need a little shot of WD-40 in there. And what I've done to lock these ones in place is I've used a cable lock. So you'll see it wound through the handles here and up through the high lift jack. That keeps those secure. Keeps the shit rats away from stealing them or opening them, anything like that. I've actually never had the storage container opened while the Jeep's been sitting. So I'm knock on wood, wherever wood may be, and hope that never happens. Still quite accessible for me. I can leave this storage container actually locked on there, undo the lock, undo the latches here, fold it down and access whatever I need inside, so that's really handy. The next Rotopax units I've got is actually on the inside here. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll see that I've got two of the 2-gallon water containers up here on the Synergy rack in the back of the Jeep. These have an extension handle and a T-handle in there so that I can spin those tight together. And what I've had to do on the insides of these Rotopax containers, I've put some foam. It's just like a weather stripping foam I had some extra kicking around of. It's actually very similar to this stuff here. So a roll of this stuff at Home Depot, whatever, only costs you $5–10. You probably get it on Amazon too. And it's 1/4 of an inch thick, if that, 1/8 of an inch. And what I did is on the back of each of these water jugs is I put a couple of strips along the top and along the bottom of when they're sitting horizontal like this. So that way when the two are snugged up tight together, they don't squeak. That was a problem I had when I first put those in there. Just the noise was incredible of the two water jugs rubbing together and squeaking. So I put that double-sided, or not double-sided, single-sided sticky weather stripping on each of those water jugs. So that way when I do have them out to fill, when they go back, they can go in either way and they don't squeak anymore. They're mounted on there, like I said. I got the extension piece through there and the the T handle. You can't really see it up in here, but I've had a custom L bracket, just a piece of steel made that attaches to, and I have it bolted to the Synergy rack in underneath. So I'd mentioned earlier that I've got a couple of little complaints with the Rotopax units, and one of those was leaking jugs. And Rotopax was nice. They sent me a couple replacement water jugs, but I still had leaking around those caps. So what I've done, and as if you can see this here, is I've just taken some plumber's tape. I gave up on getting Rotopax water jugs that don't leak, so I've just taken some plumber tape and wrapped the threads on that, and the problem is solved. So I've got two other jugs. They're not water jugs, but I got two other red containers that I'll show you where those are and what I do with those. So you can see up here, up on top of the Goby rack, I've got a couple of Rotopax units up on there. So just climb up. Those are just on there with the usual Rotopax mounting brackets and an extension handle. And in this case, I have a locking handle on here. And what I've had to do, because I've had these locks seize up, is I've just taken a piece of electrical tape and covered over the lock mechanism itself. So I pull back the electrical tape and the lock is nice and clean and free of debris. I replace that tape as needed. This one's been on here probably a month, 2 months, and I haven't needed to access the Rotopax units at all in that time anyway. Electrical tape is cheap and keeps the dirt and debris out of there, because if you get dirt and debris in that lock will seize up and you will not get it off. Then you're stuck with your Rotopax units mounted, and if you can't get at your backing bolts, it's on there. You're going to be stuck. I've seen some people drill the locks out to get at them. What I did when I had a lock seized, I did have access to the mounting plate, so I did manage to get the Rotopax units off and disassembled. But what I found is I soaked the lock in WD-40. I sprayed it in there and I let it sit for hours. Wiggled the key around in there, sprayed some more, let it sit, wiggle the key back, spray some more. I repeated that process for several hours, and I believe it took me about a day, and then the lock finally was able to free itself and I was able to unlock it and actually recover that lock. I did mention it to Rotopax. They're excellent customer service. They sent me a new lock anyway, and that's what I've got up on here right now. But like I said, I just keep it covered. A piece of electrical tape. It holds well. Even with the sun beating down on it, it doesn't leave a gooey mess of residue. Definitely don't use something like duct tape on here. You'll end up with that gooey glue of the tape getting into your lock. Electrical tape works great. It's not very wide, but it covers the lock mechanism, and like I said, never a problem. I'll shoot a little bit of WD-40 in there too once in a while, but really with that tape on there, it doesn't need it. So that's the Rotopax units. Of course, they're not cheap, but they do the job. They lock into place quite nicely. They're stackable, they're lockable together, so two gallon containers, you can lock them together and have a 4-gallon container. They work great, but like I said, definitely not cheap, and I definitely have a couple of little hiccups that I've found with them. Hope you enjoyed that. If you got any questions, let me know down below.